When it comes to important body parts for runners, the glutes should be pretty high on the list, yet for some runners, a lot of runners, weak glutes are an issue. And in Your Best Stride by Jonathan Beverly, the author talks about just why good, strong glutes are so important. Moral of the story, it's hard to be an efficient runner if your glutes aren't strong and firing to propel you forward. So if that's an issue for you, how do you engage your glutes more? How do you get them fired up, ready to go, and really create the strongest possible driver that we can have as runners? Well, thankfully you're in luck, because also in the book, Beverly outlines a whole host of exercises, stretches, maneuvers, drills, things that you can do, things that you should do to help engage those glutes and get you moving forward. In the book, each exercise comes with an illustration and a detailed description about how to do each exercise, but if that's not enough for you, we've got you covered. If you still have questions, you're still unsure how to do any of the exercises, just keep on watching through. We'll go through each exercise one at a time, or look down in the description, click the timestamp for the exercise or exercises that you're unclear about, and it'll just bump you right ahead to that section of the video. Hopefully, watching the demonstrations will help you have a better idea of how to do each exercise, which will ultimately help you move forward towards establishing your best stride. So, let's get to it. If you're trying to increase the strength in your glutes, it's hard to do a whole lot better than kind of a bridge progression. So I'm going to show you kind of the three tiers that you can work towards. Start where you are and progress from there. To start off, lay on the floor on your back with your feet flat on the floor, as close as they can get to your backside, to your glutes. So, depending on how flexible you are, you might be farther out like this. You want to get as close as you can get without stressing and straining your hamstrings and things of that nature. Then all you're going to do is, while focusing on keeping your hips square, just press straight up off the ground and hold. While you're doing so, focus on really contracting those glutes, squeezing the glutes together to help create that bridge position of helping to keep your pelvis square. You want to go for at least a straight line from your knees through your hips to that point where your back touches the ground. But if you really want to push a little bit and squeeze those glutes extra hard, you may even come up just a little bit above that parallel line. That's okay, but as long as we're getting to close to parallel, we're good. Hold that position for 30-40 seconds as long as you can, while maintaining good position, so don't let it sag. Hold that position and then relax and repeat. Now, as you get stronger, as your glutes start to engage more, you can progress the bridge to a single leg bridge. So for that, what you're going to do is extend one leg straight, or you can cross it over your knee, whichever you want to do. But I think keeping it straight to begin with is a good first step, because it helps to keep the hips square, which that's the big key with the single leg bridge. So keeping your one leg straight, contract the glutes, which is predominantly going to be on that side where your foot is on the ground, and press up, while again focusing to keep your hips square and in line with the rest of your body, and holding that position. Again, if you can press up a little bit farther, great, but the big thing is get to a straight line from your knees through your hips to your lower back. Holding that position, then of course you're going to switch and do the same thing on the other side. Now, once that becomes no big deal, kind of the third tier, the third progression, is to get to the marching bridge. So for that, you're going to raise up into that bridge position. I like to start with both legs on the ground. I suppose you can start with one leg, it's up to you. But while focusing on keeping your hips square, your glutes engaged, and focusing on keeping that straight line from the knees to the hips to that point where the back meets the ground, you're going to raise one foot in a marching pattern, lower it back down, raise the other leg, back down, and march in place for the duration of time. Again, you want to fight the urge to let the hips sag, which I think mine probably did a little bit. It's tougher than it looks. So if you notice that your hips are sagging, feet back on the floor, re-engage, and start that march again, focusing really well on contracting the glutes, keeping everything in that straight line, knees, hips, back. When it comes to building glute strength and getting your glutes to engage, squats are definitely a great exercise as well, as outlined in the book. Just make sure that you're following what the book says as far as good form goes. And I'm sorry that I can't give you a good video on good form because my squat form is terrible. I'm so tight, especially in the quads, especially in the glutes, especially in the calves, that for me to lower down into a good squat position is very tough for me to do. In fact, I really can't do it. So the reason I tell you that is that if you feel like you're tight as well and you're working on all of this stuff at one time to improve your stride, to increase your flexibility, increase your range of motion, to build strength, don't worry. You're not alone. You're not alone, okay? And do the best you can with the squats. Lower down into the lowest position you can while maintaining good form. And as your flexibility, as your range of motion, as your strength improves, you'll notice that you'll start to get to lower farther and farther. So for me right now, I can get past a little bit past 45 degrees, but if I try to go all the way down to 90 degrees, it's just not happening. Unless I screw up my form real bad, right? So keep that in mind. Don't feel like you can't or shouldn't do squats if you have limitations to your range of motion that prevents you from going through that full deep squat range while maintaining good form. Just work with what you've got, and as you do, you'll notice, hopefully, that you're able to go lower and lower, deeper and deeper into a good squat while still maintaining good form. Clamshells are another great exercise for engaging the glutes, but instead of kind of the center glutes, it's more of the lateral glutes, kind of that outside outer hip type of area. Great for those that need to work on engaging their glutes, but also great for those who maybe are struggling with a little bit of IT band issues because it's a little bit more lateral. Doing clamshells can really help to reduce the incidence of IT band issues, and it's real simple to do. So you just get down on one side, stack your hips one on top of the other, legs on top of each other, bent about 90 degrees at the knee, but don't freak out about it too much. It doesn't have to be perfect. Hips bent maybe 30 to 40 degrees, but again, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Just kind of a comfortable position. You can support your head with your hand, or you can come all the way down on your side. Either way, totally up to you and whatever feels comfortable. So to do the exercise, all you're trying to do is engage the glute, fire the glute to rotate the top leg open. So working from this area, from the glute, contract, open up, get to that point where you can't really go any farther without kind of rolling back, and lower back down. At your feet, you want to keep both feet touching together throughout the whole range of motion. So all you do, slow and controlled, contract, open up, feel that glute fire and engage, and slowly lower back to the starting position. Pretty simple. Another exercise that works the lateral glute area is the lateral leg raise. So laying in a mostly straight line, one leg stacked on top of the other, hips stacked on top of each other. Again, kind of like with the clamshell, you can support your head with your hand, or you can just lay all the way flat, whatever works best for you, whatever feels the most comfortable. You're gonna focus on engaging that glute, that top leg, and keeping the leg straight. Just raise it straight up and straight down. Nice and slow and controlled movement. Contract, relax. If you want to advance it a little bit, and this looks like it's not that big of a deal, but boy is it a game changer, you raise the legs straight up, then extend your legs, so come back a little bit, and then slowly lower down. That extra little tweak may not look like much, but I promise you, you are going to feel it if you raise up and extend back and then slowly lower back to that starting position. Definitely fires up those glutes. Good luck. All right, that wraps up this section on the glutes, helping to build strength and mobility in the old posterior. Hope it was helpful, hope it was useful. If you have any questions on any of the exercises or stretches in this video, please let me know. I'm always happy to help. Reach out on social media, reach out via email, leave a comment down below, whatever works best for you, and I'll do my best to try to help you as you continue to work on improving your stride using the book, Your Best Stride by Jonathan Beverly. Hope this was useful. Thanks for watching.